I mean, off-season, I would say, was good. First of all, just having finished 21 was a relief, and then just getting ready for a new, hopefully better season in 22. That's what keeps you going. I went over Christmas to my home place in Italy, personally, and then I went back beginning of January, and then just worked on getting everything ready for 22, and just trying to do the best we can that the car develop to the end of as long as possible and still be able to make a car for the test. So this is what we did. The first part of the question is not looking back at last year. That is what I want to do, actually. No. But what you learn is, I think that we did the right decision, as much as that sounds now the obvious to say. But in 20 we decided to have a transition season in 21, and it was a transition season. It all panned out how we said it will be, where we will end up. There was no big surprise, as much as this was like not a pleasure to go through it. But in the end, you sometimes have to go through tough times to get better, and that is what we actually did. We took a step back to make two forward, and now we have to see to make it better this year. But last season, it's over. We are done with it. Less I speak about it than I think about it, better it is for me and for the team. But it was actually good that we did it to get the best we could for 22. I mean, last season couldn't end on a more exciting finish than it did. I think for Formula One in general, it was good. Obviously, if somebody's happy, somebody's disappointed in a battle. So, but in general, there was a battle there. It wasn't like the 7 years before that there was a domination. We always complain about dominations. Last year there wasn't a domination, which was good for a championship. And each of the two teams won a championship. One the drivers, one the manufacturers. So in the end, both can be happy and unhappy because they lost one, but they won another one. So in the end, I think it was good for the fans that they could see the fight going to the end.
And you were right, because you predicted that Max would win the Drivers' Championship.
Yeah, and everybody asked me why. I don't know why, but I said he will win it, and he won it, which is, I got an opinion about it, and I was right. I mean, maybe I got lucky. Yes and no. In the beginning, when we didn't have all the hard work, because it's hard work if you've got a lot of people around, there is a lot of hard work with the people, because you actually need to spend time with them. In the beginning, you're a little bit relieved, but after a while, you miss it, because, going racing for yourself is no fun, so we need to have our partners, our sponsors, all the fans, as much people around. And end of last year, it went the right direction, and we have more people around. I don't know exactly how it will work this year, but I'm sure it will go back more to normality. Anyway, I hope that one. But some governments are still on a little bit of a little bit careful with letting people coming into the paddock. But we'll see. But in general, I think it's opening up everything again, and hopefully, the most important thing is that we get rid of of Corona. What I've seen beginning of last year, or it started at the end of 20, when we started to get the team together again to develop a car, knowing that for 21 we were late. Everything was put into the 22 car, and we actually took the advantage of that Ferrari with the budget cap coming. They had too many people, and we took them on, because we lost some people in 20 when it all got difficult for us. So Simone was there, and he started immediately to put a team together around him, and they started immediately to develop the 22 car. Obviously, the first months were a little bit difficult because we had to ramp up quite rapidly, but I would say from April, May on, we were on a very good path to develop the 22. So but I can see similarities to the years before, 16, 17, 18. That is the only thing what I can judge how good we are doing, because I don't know how good the other teams are doing, but I could see that the development, they made progress very quick, and the results from the wind tunnel were looking good because we made a certain rate of improvements every session we went into. So that's the only thing what I can take away from it. But I think we're on a good path, and Simone and the whole team, actually in Italy, coming from where we started, ramped up very quick and really good. And that's the only thing you can put that one down to. It's hard work, and that is what you want from your team. The power unit seems to be, making a big step for 22 and onwards because it will be frozen. So hopefully we will see this in the next days, how that works out. But it looks very promising. From the other collaboration, it is very similar to before. Obviously, the regulation changed a little bit, and we adapted the collaboration to the regulation because we are always complying with the FIA. We still use the Ferrari wind tunnel like we always did from the beginning. The biggest thing which changed is that we have some people coming from Ferrari to us. They are seconded to us, some we employed. And also, we have now an office within Ferrari, the compound of the factory, because they had, we got lucky, they had an office prepared for when they will have more staff, but then the budget cap came and the offices were actually available, so we took them instead of taking an office outside in Maranello, because we still have, we have quite a few Ferrari employees, and they know their way around in there. The offices are shielded up completely to Scuderia Ferrari, because that is what the regulation demands, and we got a little bit lucky there, but harder you work, luckier you get, and that's what we did. So the collaboration is very strong, and all collaborations, you always want more. So, but the boundary is set by the FIA regulations. I think what I know is that we did good development over the year. How good it is compared with the other ones, I do not know until we go testing. But that is coming soon. We are a week away from it now. So I just saw the development. I was happy how the people worked, and now we just need to see what we can do with the car and how good it is compared with the other ones. I mean, the calendar, 23 races is a lot, but if the demand is here from the fans, if they want to see us, we need to do it. I think we should give the fans what they want, so they stay loyal to us. This year, with a few races back, I mean, very, very exciting races. The night race in Singapore, going back to Australia, which is always one of my favorite races, and then a new race in Miami in the United States, which is very exciting. So I think good things happen. I would say the last years we had good things. We had circuits which weren't on the calendar for many years, and we got back to them, and some of the circuits which were new, like Portugal 2 years ago. So it was all exciting, but now changing a little bit around, I think it always gives new excitement. Instead of having a solid calendar, every year the same, it's more of the same. With this, what the pandemic did and what FIM came up with to get around the pandemic, I think it was very good. And now going back to some of these races, which we really like, I think is exciting. No, the sprint race is a sprint race. It is a race. Getting the cars back, you never can think that, because then you shouldn't go racing. If that is your only objective, to have a safe car, the best is not to go out there. So to get something out of it, obviously for the drivers, it's more driving, more racing. They learn more, and for the fans, they like it. The fans liked it, and therefore we put the same show on as last year. I think it's a good thing. Times are changing always, and we need to go with the times. The demands are different than 10 years ago, than 20 years ago. So if the fans want this, we should be doing this, and maybe in a few years we have got a few more sprint races. And I think it's good as long as the demand is here and is liked by the fans. I always said we should try it 1 year. If we can see that it is liked and that it is positive for everybody, we should keep on doing it and doing more of it, because we need to evolve the sport. I'm very conscious about the DNA of the sport, but we shouldn't get stuck in a rut and keep on just doing what we are doing. We need to look left and right and see what is out there, that we can make the sport better for ourselves, for the fans mainly, and for the sport. I think the atmosphere, it is, I would say, a little bit tense, but it's an excitement tense, you know. There is an excitement here because the people which were here in 18 didn't forget how it feels to finish fifth in the championship and to score points almost every race, you know. So they want to go back to that one, but everybody's a little bit nervous about that if it can be done, because we had 2 years which weren't very good, you know. So, but life is a roller coaster. It's ups and downs, you know, and we just need to, and I keep on telling the people, we haven't gone stupid in 3 years. We had circumstances which we couldn't expect, and we had to adapt to it, and therefore we ended up where we ended up in 21. So I think the excitement is here. People really want to go back to fight for something, because that makes this sport enjoyable, and especially with a 23 race calendar, you need to enjoy it. Otherwise, you cannot do this. This is not a simple answer I need to give. I mean, obviously, you look for a car, a fast car which is reliable, because if you cannot run it, you don't get data to get the best out of it in the race. So it's a mix of all, but if you have to pick one of the two, I rather pick speed than reliability, because if you're reliable and you're not fast, to make a car fast takes a lot. To make it reliable, I think, is not easy, but it's something you can achieve a lot simpler. To get speed into a car is very difficult, because you need to change the car so much. So what I hope in the test we get out of the box and we are pretty happy with the performance of our car, and then we just need to tweak it. But you know, it's a complete new regulation, so there will be some reliability issues. They will be expected. I mean, if they come, they are not unexpected, and what we need to do to react quickly, that we get as much driving out as we can, because for the drivers, because the driving style will be completely different of this car than the old car. So also the drivers need some time to adapt to it and to get the best out of it. So, you know, I'm hoping for both of it, but if I have to pick one, I pick speed. Qualifying for sure. I mean, that is always shows you the true speed. If the car is really fast, you always can get it set up for the race, you know. So that will be my day on Bahrain, you know, in qualifying, to see where we are at.